On your mark.
The trivia that people like to do.
Get set.
The mess which appeals to the kids.
Go!
It's the making of Super Floppy Double Dare. The making of Super Floppy Double Dare is made possible by the subscribers to TV12.
Hi there. Thank you, audience, and thank you, Harvey. Welcome to Super Sloppy Double Dare. This is the show where we run through a crazy obstacle course and in the process win 8 fabulous prizes.
It's supposed to be a kids' game show aimed for basically a kids' audience.
We have teams today, starting to my right. They call themselves the Gruesome Twosome. Say hello to Rolf and Andrea. Yes. Rolf, you're a trumpet player. How long have you been doing that?
4 years. I'm Rolf Scar. I'm in 8th grade, and I go to Paxton Hollow Junior High. A few weeks ago, a lady from Nickelodeon came in, and she interviewed some of us. She wanted to know us a little bit about our hobbies and what we like to do. And out of, I think it was 60 people, she chose the two people who are going to be on the show.
And Andrea loves the theater. Do you want to be an actress?
No, I like anything for an audience. I'm a ham. I'm Andrea Allman, and I was his partner picked for this thing. They just told us that we were coming down here, and some of our friends get the day off to come down.
Let's talk about the rules here on Super Sloppy Double Dare. I'm going to be asking you a question.
And if they don't know, they either say dare, and then for the second time, if the other team doesn't know, they would say double dare. Yeah.
And then you either have to answer that question or do what, Dana?
Or
take the physical challenge. That's Dana, our producer.
Then the host would make them come up on the stage and do a physical challenge, and it's usually something pretty simple, pretty sloppy too.
Double Dare is played by 10 to 13-year-olds. The 10 and 11-year-olds play against each other, and the 12 and 13-year-olds play against each other. And it was always that design. At Nickelodeon, the way Nickelodeon does often its programming, it's a channel just for kids, so we look at the adult world and see what kind of shows are there on television that kids don't have that adults do. And one of the first things we noticed was game shows. There were no kids' game shows in the marketplace.
According to the nursery rhyme, what kind of animal was Fuzzy Wuzzy?
Bear.
Yes, Fuzzy Wuzzy was a bear. Fuzzy Wuzzy had no hair. Fuzzy Wuzzy wasn't fuzzy. Wuzzy.
And we started to go back to our roots of kids and say what kid games exist. And one of the games that we talked about was a game called Truth or Dare, in which that game is, if you don't know that game is you get to ask somebody a question. They either have to tell you the truth. If they don't want to tell you the truth, then they have to take a dare. Go outside on the lawn and scream like a chicken. So we thought, well, this is a funny idea. But telling the truth, that has no play-at-home value. And we started playing with, Truth or Dare, What Else in Dare, and then I think one of our co-creators, Bob Mittenthal, said, Double Dare. He said, Double Dare? That's something kids always say on the playground. And almost before we had a game, we had a title.
If you were storming the Bastille in 1789, you'd be fighting in what revolution?
Dare.
Now, we're 20.
French Revolution.
You are absolutely right. Add another 20 over there. They now have $50 separating our two teams.
Now we're just finishing our first year in syndication. And a lot of other children's game shows have come into the marketplace, diluted the marketplace, so the ratings have fallen a bit. So we went out and created Super Sloppy Double Dare, making it bigger, better, grabbing the kids back. So far, it looks like we're successful.
He's been our host since we went on the air in October of 1986. How about a nice warm welcome for Mr. Super Sloppy Double Dare himself, Mark Summers!
Currently, I'm hosting a program that has become the biggest hit in children's television in a number of years, called Double Dare. We start shooting at about 10 in the morning. We usually do 2 upfront games. In other words, we tape a game and then bring in a new audience. I go backstage, change my clothes, it's a new day. We do another upfront game, and then we play 2 obstacle courses and do the same thing in the afternoon. It's still round 1 here on Super Sloppy Double Dare. We have incredibly smart teams today. They're not doing anything wrong. They're answering all the questions correctly. No physical challenges yet, but that may change. And people always say, how do you memorize those scripts? There are no scripts. So it's the background I've had since I was 11 years old when I started doing magic. And, the job involves making the contestants feel comfortable, explaining things to them in a short amount of time. I have to explain semi-complicated physical challenges in 30 seconds or less, because if you do a 3-minute explanation, the people at home are going to turn the dial.
Notice that there's lots of chocolate pudding all over there, and the way we have to clean this carpet, which is held over from the 60s, is to take this shampoo and put it all over your partner.
The spirit of competition, I think. People, when they're watching the TV, you look at that and you say, you kind of compete with the people on the TV. It's not like a show where you just watch things. You can actually almost take part in it, and I think that excites people.
I think it's also trivia. It seems that trivia, little tidbits of knowledge that you don't necessarily pick up in school. Actually, you don't, because there's not much you pick up in school anyway. I shouldn't be saying this. I think it's more people get interested in these things, common knowledge, kind of fun things.
I'll get them on this one. Which McDonald's product has the most calories? The 6-piece box of Chicken McNuggets, a cheeseburger, or a vanilla shake?
There.
I'm always asked, where do you get the questions? And I'd love to say I write them all, but I don't write them all. I mean, I have some freelance writers that write questions for me. And when they ask me, when I hire a new writer, and they say, where should we go for material? I say, source books such as any sort of encyclopedias, dictionaries, reference books, textbooks for kids, just to get a sense of the age group.
Chicken McNuggets, the cheeseburger, or the vanilla shake? Or you could double dare them back.
Double dare.
Basically, the source for all the material is the world. And though I use a lot of books, I read a lot of newspapers, I do a lot of odd book shopping where I'll find strange fact books. And the biggest part about my job is that I'm sort of quality control. I'm an editor. I inject humor when I can into the program, but I'm really just part of an ensemble.
Now, worth 40, are we going to take a physical challenge?
Physical challenge.
Oh, thank you. A vanilla shake, it has 352. And let's move over to our first physical challenge of the day.
I really do think of this show certainly as fun, as messy, as a good time, but I also think of it as educational. I really think there's a lot of good stuff going on with the questions, and I take pride in that.
It's just that people watch the show across America to see people get slopped up, and I wouldn't want to disappoint them. You wouldn't, would you?
No problem.
Oh, good. Now,
and you don't feel too bad if you can't answer questions. You realize, hey, some of this stuff you just don't remember, you just blank out on, and it just gives you a chance, to redeem yourself in a sense. Messy sense, but...
On your mark. Get set. Go! Put that shampoo on your partner and get that chocolate pudding. Okay, just dip the whole thing on. Okay, there you go.
Physical challenge is a stunt in the tradition of Beat the Clock, or in some cases, more recent shows like, I guess even Price is Right has some elements of, the Double Dare kind of stunt. My job is to, give everything that's on the show a particular look, the Double Dare look. It sort of came out of that sort of Italian design look of the 80s, the Memphis look. Bright patterns, bold shapes. There's sort of an over-scaled quality to it, kind of cushiony and bulbous. The ideas can come from everywhere. We usually wind up sitting around in an office thinking of, strange, unusual items that we haven't done yet, and, what can we do next. But I also think about what would have intrigued me, what my fantasies might have been about, maybe not necessarily getting messy when I was a kid, but, weird contraptions or, surreal shapes that would have intrigued me. Chewing gum or something, blowing bubbles.
No, they're going to have to be going like that.
The last third of the game is the obstacle course, where the winning team gets a chance to run through some rather unusual or esoteric obstacles that we've developed, like an oversized pair of Groucho glasses, and you have to kind of root around in the nostrils to find the flag.
And with each flag, you win a different prize. And usually it's about 8 obstacles you have to get through in 60 seconds. And then you'll win the grand prize, which is usually a trip or a vacation or something.
Which they usually don't give out too quickly.
Welcome to the Super Sloppy Double Dare Obstacle Course, and Gumdrop is number 1. And to explain this one, don't go away, come here, Cheryl. Cheryl works very hard on our show. She gets all of our audiences together. Huh? Come on, Cheryl, you can do this. Now, can you describe this for Rolf and Andrea?
No.
Sure you can. They get up there and they grab the flag and then they put in the nickel, we turn the crank, and where does he come out?
It comes out here.
And he has what in his hand?
He has a flag in his hand, and he passes it to his partner, and
then,
they keep going.
Okay, but say, Harvey, what will they win?
And Harvey, what will they win?
It's a 9-point.
I am the announcer, and I do all the things like tell them what the prizes are and what fabulous things they'll be winning if they get through the obstacle course, and warm up the audience and get them going. And when it takes 2.5 hours to do a half-an-hour show of Double Dare, somebody's got to be, hanging out with the kids and entertaining them and talking to them and answering their questions.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Well,
the questions they ask, very interesting. They're fascinated by how old you are, how much money you make, what kind of car do you drive. They ask Mark and I constantly those kinds of checking out our status. They want to know the inner workings of the show. They want to know, when do the kids get the money? Do they take the prizes home that day? Who thinks up these obstacles? Every audience asks, who thinks up all these ideas? Where do the questions come from? How do you get the words on the bottom of the screen? They're really into the mechanics of how the show runs. It's interesting.
We just took a look around the set a little bit. It's amazing, it looks so large on the TV screen, but then it's so small when you look at these sets.
I've been the director for almost 200 episodes, and they kind of bumped me upstairs. I get to be the producer this time. It's really like the general of an army. You have 1 million troops on 100 different fronts.
The pace of the Double Dare show reminds me maybe of working in a hospital emergency room. I mean, you have to get it done. You can't stop. If you stop tape, you really lose the momentum, and it's just deadly. Yeah, it's slippery. You have to watch what you're doing, but it's sort of like you're dying. If you went downstairs at your house at nighttime and you didn't want to turn the lights on, I mean, after a while, you do about a week of these shows, you know where everybody's going to be, and you just sort of find your spot. You weave around and you learn how to skid on the water. You'll be all right.
My name is Robin Morella,
I'm Dave Shikiar.
and we work as Mark's assistants on the show. We're primarily...
We suit the kids up for the physical challenges. We make sure they don't fall and break their bones when they do the obstacle course.
We make sure that they just know that, Mark has his microphone with him. He doesn't have enough time during physical challenges to tell him exactly what to do. So we don't have mics on, so we really initially tell them all the physical challenges and stuff. Row to your partner, and they have to catch two? They have to catch 3. So you got to catch it, stick it in your cage until you get 3 in, okay? A lot of times we go away and people say, how can you waste all that food? But people don't realize that that's all outdated food.
The number one criticism that you'll hear about Double Dare is, why do you waste so much food? How can you waste so much food? There are starving people in the world, and how can we do that? And to be honest, we don't waste any food really. Most of the stuff that you see couldn't sustain life anyway. I mean, we use a lot of pudding and whipped cream that we make ourselves, and all the things that you see, like let's say corn has been out there. All the milk that you see is really just colored water. But whatever food that you see out there is all post-dated. None of that is really going to sustain life anyway. I hope at least, someone is starving, you're not going to give them pudding, you're not going to give them dessert.
On your mark. Get set. Go! Stick them in there and get them across 10. Who's going to catch them and stick them in the cages? We need 3. You want to do it through that first opening.
My sister always said it. She used to watch it every day. She said, you should be on the show. You should be on the show. One day and told them that I was going to be in. Parents were really excited. Yeah, my mom's down there in the audience, and she was cheering me on, taking pictures and stuff. Really.
Did you say your parents were almost more excited?
Yeah, more excited than I
My parents drove me a little crazy over it.
I'm Roy Feld, and my son Jim Feld is a contestant today. And in fact, he just won.
My name is Rhonda Foraker. I'm here because my son is a first alternate for the Double Dare show.
My name is Dale Graham, and I have a son, Matthew Graham, and he was picked as a contestant for Double Dare.
My name is Julie Robertson, and I'm the supervising talent coordinator at Nickelodeon, which means that I get the talent staffs and audition some of the children, make sure that everything's running smoothly in the talent office, and make sure that the kids that are chosen are the spunkiest of spunky.
The most important thing for me is talking to the kids when you ask them what their name is or what they like to do. If their face, lights up and is sparkly, then you know that they're going to be good. We had auditions in New York that it was an open call audition. Kids slept overnight in their car. Like, I think they got there at 6 o'clock the evening before and slept in their car. And these parents, I think are great, for doing that.
It's almost like a dream for him to be on TV, to win money, to get fame and glory.
So for a week now, we have had him talking in his sleep about the show, answering questions in his sleep, not sleeping, running around the house doing physical challenges.
My concern with him was that he had fun. And I think children today feel so pressured to succeed in everything they do that even when they go out on a soccer field, basketball court, they can only think of one thing, winning, and he's very focused that way. So I hope he realized that it's not such a frightening experience and that he shouldn't maybe hold some of these TV movie stars in such awe because they're regular people just like he is.
Not that I look at myself as a role model and had never chosen to be in that position, but I guess became a role model for kids. And they looked up to me because Buffalo Bob was the last person, I guess, since Howdy Doody that kids had to look up to. And it was sort of a scary feeling. And so we're talking somewhere between 15 and 18 million kids watching us a week. That's why when you go to McDonald's, you sign cheeseburger wrappers.
I think it's funny to see kids get messed up and have fun in all the gook and slime and everything. That's what makes it unique from other game shows. It's the kids in the slime.
We take a game show format and stretch it because we suddenly just launch into antics on sets. For example, we taped a show yesterday which suddenly became the I Love Lucy show.
Ricky, wow! She really did it. I can't believe it. Let's hear it for Lucy.
It's hard to take it serious when you're asking a kid to take Cheese Whiz and put it all over his face and then do something beyond that. You can't really say, okay, now if you do this, you're going to get $40. You got to laugh at it, and I think that spirit comes across the screen, and the kids are laughing at it too. I don't think we've ever had a kid who's lost cry or get upset. So the main thing we're trying to sell is fun, and I think we've been quite successful at it.
Now, that sound means it's the end of the game with $240. The gruesome twosome have won today's game of Super Sloppy Double Dare.
It's basically for the fun. They have the prizes and money and all. But a lot of it's just fun.
Of course, Jessica, Todd, you were great contestants. You were making your move. We just ran out of time, but you get that money to split. And Harvey, don't we have lovely parting gifts for them today?
Oh, you betcha, Mark.
My name is Sandy Sweeney, and I am a teacher chaperone with Perkio Mandrano, who's coming today to do the show. I think it's very popular with the kids. They really like it because it's exciting, it's colorful, there's lots of action, and unpleasant things happen to people. So they get slimed or dirty or messy or things that make them look silly. And that's different and unusual, so it's funny, and that makes the show popular.
As I see it, our civilization has been sanitizing children, making them more decent, more clean as time has gone by. The problem is that you have all these other impulses, all these other desires to run and yell and scream and be naughty on occasions and even swear and things of that sort. So the problem for our society is how to give expression to these kind of impulses in a way that's reasonably sociable and reasonably desirable. And Double Dare is such an attempt. It's an experiment. I became conversant with Nickelodeon several years ago when they had a bunch of us up to consult them on some of their cartoon attempts and some of their programs. At that time we were discussing whether Double Dare was too dangerous or should be more decent, etc.
Andrea, your next obstacle is Lake Double Dare, and you want to dive into that boat. Now, if you fall out, just forget it.
If you're a kid and you've never, everybody says, clean up that mess right now. There's no messes in this house. We keep this. And you're allowed to roll around in chocolate pudding for money, for prizes. Why not? But this whole idea that you can win so much by doing so little is totally counter to what we're trying to do in school. In school, we're saying, do your homework, learn your lessons, keep in there, stay with this whole thing, and education is the key to a future. And then with the stroke of one magic wand, a kid earns thousands of dollars of stuff because he was willing to let somebody pour a bucket of green stuff on his head.
You got a lot of time when you get to this one, because all you have to do is just scamper up that little mountain, grab that flag in your hand, and if you have done all this in 60 seconds or less, Harvey, what's the grand prize?
An unbelievable.
They have trips to Disneyland, they have skateboards, bikes, boomboxes, everything.
I was on the Today Show with Bryant Gumbel, and he said, are we teaching kids that they are being judged by what they have and not by who they are, by giving them prizes? And I said to Bryant, you know, Bryant, if we took these prizes and we took the money away tomorrow, I guarantee you the kids would do it anyway, because they want to get messy, they just want to have fun.
And also today we'll give up the freedom where it is. Don't look it up, punch it up with connections and agents.
Some people say that this program promotes greed in children because it gives them rewards. Well, it does that. There's no evidence apparently that greed is provoked, but what one sees is that this program is like so many other programs on television. We live in a culture where people believe in winning, where people believe in being paid off for being well informed. But greed, no, if greed is the name of this game, it's the name of our whole society. Now, some people feel that.
Are we a show that inspires greed in kids? I don't know. I know that kids come on our show, they line up at malls to get on the show, and they have a really good time. I know that we're able to give kids an experience that they can only dream of. And as many adults aspire to success and to be on television, which for whatever odd reason has this thing. I mean, look at me. I'm on TV. I'm so thrilled right now. I don't know if you can tell.
Everybody wants to be on TV. I can never figure that out. But there's a certain charm or a thrill of getting on, and Andy Warhol's thing about everybody's going to be a star for 5 or 10 minutes. So you have that draw.
I was once asked, what's the number one reason? Do you think it's for the prizes? Do you think it's to get messed up? And I really didn't think it was either of those. I truly believe the number one reason kids play this game is to be on TV. You know, go out there with your cameras and watch those kids wave and scream. Just to be on TV, they'll be thrilled.
Television has now become almost the center of our universe, both private and public. I mean, it's in your home. You see it there. You see everything on TV. You see entertainment on TV, but you see all the major figures. There's practically nothing goes on in the world and on this earth anywhere now that doesn't get into TV. And TV is also your private home, and you sit around it, and it's the major entertainment. It's a major center. It's almost like an altar. I hate to use the words from religion, but it has almost a sacred quality.
There is a vicarious thrill of watching someone get messed up. And so that's the same thing as a Let's Make a Deal. Someone got sung, oh, look what happened to you. You know, it's the, oh, look what happened, aren't you a mess?
There is a certain bloodthirstiness to people. It's there. You don't like to acknowledge it, but it's there. And that has a certain entertainment value. And this is not bloodthirsty. Nobody really gets hurt, but still it's this, would you like to be slimed every day before breakfast? It's not something. And there's, I hate to say it, there's that enthusiasm for that.
Game shows have been popular since radio and through television for the simple reason that I can win. Anybody can win. You know, there's that something for nothing sense that a game show can inspire. And when you strip away all the trappings of a game show, there are prizes and competition. And you can't get around that, and that's where a lot of the criticism of our show comes from. It's a question of how you dress that beginning, you know, that initial skeleton that makes for a better or worse game show.
60 seconds on the clock. Audience, cheer them on. On your mark, get set, go!
We got a lot of time on our hands. What are we going to do with all this time? Well, let's invent television. What are we going to fill up television with? Well, let's invent something that's a mirror reflection of our basic survival game with a winner and a loser. So we invent games. And game shows are the nice way of winning and losing. And we like to see winners and losers because we identify with one or the other. We'd rather think we're the winner, but maybe deep inside we're going, oh God, I'm just like those loser guys. Either way, you're gonna line up with one or the other. It's an incredible draw. It's really a strong, powerful urge to watch somebody win or lose a game.
If we're victorious, we'll just be...
I'll go back to school.
Yeah, we'll just be...
One time we want to go back to
everybody we
school.
want and everything, and bragging, whatever.
You get nervous, like, it's just for some reason you realize this isn't, just playing around, this is for real. Oh my gosh, there's this camera in front of me, and this thing doesn't look like how it looks on TV, you realize, a lot different.
Not bad, but we only got 6 out of 8. Come on over here and listen closely. Harvey will tell you everything that you want.
Mark, they've got the Tyco, the sunglasses, the camera, the hobby bike, the Casio TV, and that Smith Corona typewriter all together along with the cash, a prize package of over $1,400 each.
Good prize package, lots of money. We have whipped cream on the lens. These guys are very happy. I have whipped cream on me as well. Super Sloppy Double Dare does it all the time. Provides lots of fun, lots of entertainment, and I hope you join us Monday through Friday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
It'll be fun going back to school. To all those people who said rotten things about me. Take it back now or else.